Well, hello everybody. So I hope everything is all good. I have some people in the background checking all of that, but I checked everything myself as well and I think everything is good. So here you go, a big face in the broadcast. How is everybody? As you guys can see, my name is Roland Pruisers is how you pronounce my name in Dutch. Otherwise, a lot of the English pronunciation is Roland Pruisers. That's also fine. And as you can see on the right below me, you can see my Twitch channel, which is Monkey Chess. I don't stream on that very often, but occasionally I do. So give me a follow if you didn't already do that. So yeah, welcome everybody to another Title Tuesday. Of course, every Tuesday, let me show you guys what is going on today in this evening, what you can expect. So here we go. So as you guys can see, we've got a position on the board, which is not relevant at the moment, but it's a nice position. So there you go. And what can we expect? So here you go. Boing. This is the format. Today we have an 11-round Swiss tournament, and it's been changed to 11 rounds because, the Grand Prix is now over for the Speed Chess Championship qualifications, and therefore we are back to regular Title Tuesdays. So that means 11 rounds this time, so that we have a bigger chance to determine who will be the winner of this tournament. And it will be normally every Tuesday again at 10 a.m. PDT time or 19 CEST time, which is actually my time at the moment. So as you can see, it is kind of dark in my place, or at least I'm trying to, okay, here are the prizes. Clicked on the wrong button, but there you go. So the first place is a nice $750. I would go for that. And the second place prize is $400. Third place $150 and fourth place $100. Not bad, not too shabby for a night's, actually it's 2 hours or 3 hours of work. So that would be good. Best female and best stream player also get a prize of $100. So yeah, very, very nice. So let's go back to the board. Here you go. Let's take a look at who will be participating in this event while you see a position in the Eliakine. Once again, I don't know why I put that on the board, but it just came naturally to me. It's better than nothing. So we've got the king of the Speed Chess Championship himself, Mr. Hikaru, and Sip Elephant, also a big player in the Title Tuesdays, of course. Big Fish, Mr. Fedoseev, Grishuk, Lion Beast, which is Maxim Vashelagraf, Chess Warrior, Abdus Satorov, already qualified for the Speed Chess Championship in November. Dules, which is Dubov, if I'm not mistaken, Ferrugia, and many, many more. So yeah, I might not know the names of certain players, but I'll try to keep. I actually got a little note here of some of the players, but yeah. Anyway, some names I probably will not know, so keep an eye out in the chat, because of course there are some people who are watching very regularly to this Title Tuesday, so some people in the chat might know better than me. So there you go. Let's take a look at some of the games. So actually I showed the format already, I think, but let me remind everyone once again. So it is a time control of 3 minutes and 1 second increment. And yeah, that is very interesting to me, because 1 second increment is not a lot, and we'll see how much that does for the time scramble. And also the tie breaks, I forgot to mention. The payout is based on Chess.com tie breaks. So that will be important at the end of the stream. At the end of the tournament. For me, the stream, I'm not participating, of course, but for the tournament. All right, so let's dive right in. Let me close this guy off and let's move back to the board. Let's take a look at how, of course, the one and only Mr. Hikaru is doing. He's playing against the National Master R31415. That could have been a robot in the Star Wars series, but okay. And I recognize this as a, if I'm not mistaken, this was a modern defense by black. And Hikaru looks alright. I'm not too sure who's better and why, but I'm 100% sure that Hikaru's eyeing a bishop h6 idea here, but black is trying to trap a bishop on a4 at the moment, so I'm not too sure who's better or why, but Hikaru's doing a good job not allowing just a b5 move here, and actually after bishop h6 or knight g5. Yeah, that's the thing with speed chess, sometimes you have to catch up quickly. Okay, but this looks kind of over after knight g5, and then there will be unstoppable mate on h7, so this looks good. By the way, below my camera you can see hopefully updated standings. I'll try to refresh it as much as I can, and yeah, we'll see of course who will be on top and the end of all these things of this tournament. Actually, so after king takes, knight g5, rook h8, there's rook takes f7, which should more or less decide the game. So yeah, rook h7, nice finish there. The rook has to take here, and then after queen takes, it's mate in 2. Good start for Hikaru. Let's move on to the next game, because this is already a very nice mate. So let's move on to number 2, which is Indian Star versus Sip Elephant. And also here we see a queen on the h file, which looks terribly good for black. So it looks like Sip Elephant is doing fantastic here. I don't see a mate just yet, but a simple idea could be knight here. Actually, it's kind of funny how those knights ended up on the back rank. Apparently this was not the best move, because there's queen a4 in the position. And that could maybe put some trouble on the position for black. Probably that's why it was better to play something like knight c6 instead. But alright, knight a6 played, so missed chance here with queen a4. Now after queen a4, black has knight c6. So the king is in the center, but it should not be that big of a problem. And the king on f2 is very weak, so I'm actually thinking that Sip Elephant is doing absolutely fantastic here somehow. Yeah, it's mostly the king. I mean, knight g4 is coming, king goes, queen g2, rook here. So yeah, queen a4 was a few moves too late, but better late than never, you might argue. Alright, so let's see what black's gonna do. I'll remove the arrows. So yeah, it looks like king f8 simply. Looks pretty good. I mean, the king can just walk over to g8. Both rooks have got a file to work with, so it should be good enough. Instead, he's going for an endgame, which should not be bad for black, but I mean, now the king on f2 is a lot safer, so maybe white has more breathing space at the moment, but practically it should be a good decision because black has more time and white still has a few threats in the position. Rook h2, is that already over? Yes, because after king f3, knight takes, king goes, rook takes e2, black wins the knight on e2. So yeah, that seems to be a victory for Sip Elephant as well. Yeah, resignation by Indian Star, a young player from India. And let's move on to Big Fish. Well, we've got a lot of king-side attacks today. So Jolly Roger playing against Big Fish, which is Fedoseev, who qualified, by the way, for the Speed Chess Championship, which will start in the next month. So you guys can definitely look forward to that. So Queen c4, I spot with my eye a tactic with knight b6, winning the rook. Otherwise, a move like a5 could be good. I would be very materialistic and play knight b6, but he is going to try and trap the queen, but the queen is not trapped after queen a3, it seems. But okay, white wins a pawn on b5. Still not the end of the world. White's clearly better, I think. 2 pawns over here. Actually, scratch that. One pawn. Yeah, probably knight c3 was not the best. Maybe knight d5 first. But it's time trouble. We've got 10 seconds for both players, so let's take a look. Let's see. Alright, and the standings are updating, which makes me very happy. And okay, Fedoseev is clinching this towards his advantage. So bishop d4, nice move, centralization, bishop h3. All pieces in the attack, but now more than ever, it's about time. 4 seconds versus 7 seconds. 5 versus 4. This is so nerve-wracking. This is the phase where I would make a lot of mistakes. So 3 seconds versus... Oh, queen takes f7 missed. King h8. Oh, that's a full piece. Ouch, that hurts. Okay. Time. And that's all, folks. Alright, so Fedoseev, tough game, but he seems to have been victorious. So let's move on. Let's see if there are some other players. Let's take a look at Lion Beast. Never mind, he already won. So let's take a look at another player. Who shall we look at next? Let's take a look at Witcher 8 versus Giga Kuparadze. So this should be a draw, but Giga has a lot more time on the clock, so you might actually play this for a win. So in a normal game you would never do that, you would just take the draw, but this is speed chess, so there you go. 1 second versus 19. Yeah, is this interesting? Not really, huh? Alright, so we'll see later if white managed to flag his opponent. Let's move on to another one. So we've got Arjan Tari over here playing with the black pieces. He is in big trouble against Dr. Wittmann. This was actually a Grandmaster clash, and it seems actually that white lost on time in a winning position. White is a pawn up, so Arjan Tari, quite fortunate there, but won his game. So yeah, let's take a look at the next one. Never mind, Anton Demchenko also won. So games are ending quite quickly. The updates of which games are still moving on is coming in slowly. So right, so we got 2 games left. And this looks kind of dangerous. So this is second work again. I would take black, but b1 is far from reach. I would definitely take black now. Bishop f4. Let's go. Nope, missed. Bishop f4 would have won the rook. Not in the position anymore. Knight b1, king c2, and the knight will fall. So this will be a victory for Mr. Ayun Erigaisi from India. It seems. Yeah, black won. Alright, so that leaves, I think, 1 game. And okay, the rook ending ended in a draw. So that means that we are moving on to round 2. All the games have ended and most of the top players seem to have won their first game match. So not a lot of surprises here. Maybe the Witcher 8 versus Giga was the biggest surprise just yet. Alright, so let's quickly move on to round 2. Yeah, this is a fast-paced tournament, everybody. Round 2, round 3 and round 1, 2, 3 are following each other up rather quickly. So let's take a look at another great player in this tournament. Firouzja playing against Swarnapuri from India. Lots of Indian players in this tournament as usual. Let me change the overlay a little bit so that you can see Hikaru's name fully on the screen in the standings. So perfect. Alright, so white got the bishop pair, but I like h5 trying to undermine the king's position. A rather risky opening, I would say, for white. After h4, black has a lot of potential here, so I don't know if this was a good choice for white. If I had a choice, I would pick black here. Yeah, So where would you put the knight? G6 is a solid option. I would have considered knight G4, but after H3 it's rather dubious if that would have been a good move. Knight G6, very solid. The H file will open, black will put a bishop on D6, and white has some trouble. So yeah, opening not a great success by Firouzja, and he's very low on time. So white's strategy would be to push E4 at some point, so knight C3 and E4 would be my plan. And here I would just play bishop D6, or maybe C6 first. I don't know. You have to keep an eye out for E4. That's the only thing that could be a problem. So C6, good move. So I would play knight C3, followed by E4, or I would try that at least. C4, also a good move, and then knight C3. So white is trying to get some activity back. And now maybe you could argue that taking is best, bishop D6. Anyways, a rather tricky opening. Eventful game. Alright, but I'm gonna skip towards the next one. Firouzja is a very interesting game to keep in mind. So D takes C4. Play it. Let me show you guys another game. So here we've got another prodigy with the black, with the white pieces. I'm sorry, that is Abdu Satorov. He also qualified for the Speed Chess Championship, which will start next month once again, everybody. And bishop G4 on the board. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this. It seems like white is better because of this file. So what happens after G5? That seems to win a piece, but maybe white can complicate matters after E5. So a very double-edged position. A very, very double-edged position. Yeah, so by the way, something I did not mention, and that is, well, it speaks for itself, but let me tell everyone. Anyways, Title Tuesday is only for title players. Stating the obvious there. All right, but yeah, so the thing is that in round 2, the title players are already playing against each other. That's why you see Grandmaster against International Master here, which is already a big class in a normal tournament. So there you go. All right, so white won back the piece. Here you would probably play Queen E3 or Rook E3. Maybe there's something special about Bishop F2, but I'm guessing just the Rook or Queen. And then black takes back a piece. What an incredibly messy position. Every time I say that, I have to think of Ronaldo for some reason. Messy position, Ronaldo position. No, that's weird. All right, moving on to the next game. This looks very dangerous for, I would say, black. I think black is in trouble here if white plays correctly, but time is of course still of the essence. And let me move on to another game. Is there somebody that we haven't taken a look at yet? We've got Dubov here with the black pieces, and he is having, can I count correctly, 3 pawns up? Yeah, that's 6 black pawns and 3 white pawns, so should be over. Daniel Dubov doing very well in this game, and so let's move on to the next one. Which one shall we take a look next? There are so many games to take a look at. 2 pawns, but still winning. Oh, why not? Let's do Maxime Vachier-Lagrave again. So this looks like a terrible grind. Time difference not too much. Opposite colored bishops, symmetrical pawns. So this should be quite an easy draw. Which means the biggest upset of the day maybe so far. Firouzja, by the way, managed to win his game. So Firouzja won. He's on 2 out of 2 at the moment. And okay, if black can get e4 in somehow, could be dangerous, but rook d1 should save the game. Even a move like king g1 might be okay, but rook d1 looks very natural. Just king f1, good enough. Giving some breathing space for the bishop. Don't play e4 now. Okay, very good. But now e4 could be interesting. Now things are getting a little bit complicated. So a move like f3 you would never want to play, because then your bishop on g2 is absolutely... Well, if a term like buried in exists in chess, that would be the bishop on g2. Wait, chance missed? Okay, bishop d4. Okay, maybe this plays a little bit easier, but black should still... This should still be a draw, but it's not so easy. And black now has some chances to win this. So, yeah. It should be a draw, but okay, it's speed chess once again. And keep in mind, everybody, it's 1 second increment per move. So that is not a lot, and people will get flagged in this tournament. So the problem is this pawn and the king here for black. Black has trouble advancing because the king cannot be moved on e2. So yeah. Rook f1 looks normal. Okay, black is grinding this out to a win, so I'm expecting Maxime Vachier-Lagrave with the black pieces to win this. But it's getting tougher and tougher. And white keeps playing fast as well. So that means that white is playing clearly on time here, which is not a bad strategy. Let's stick to this game. Results will be updated shortly, everybody. Results are dropping in as we speak. Hikaru won his game. Dubov won his game as well. I just got mention of that. Firouzja won. And Mamadjarov is actually also here. Let's see in the next round if we can find his game as well. It's also good to find top players, of course, like Mamadjarov. Yeah, this is a draw, but practically, of course, in tournaments like these, rook c4 check, bishop d3, very good. Yeah, still a draw. Oh, e2. Now it's winning. e1 is next, so he has to take, and now it's a pawn up, so this should be a win for Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who has also much more time on the clock. So, all right, let's see if there are still some games left, and we'll see. I just had to ask a question, so let's take a look here. Daniel Darda, prodigy from Belgium, playing against the prodigy from India. A win for white. Let's see which chess queen. Let's take a look. Nope, not interesting. She won her game, rook up, so very good for her. I guess. Yeah. Results are dropping in, everybody. Yeah, all right. That's a mate. That's a resignation. Yeah. This is winning for black, but in time trouble, not so easy. This is the last game left in this round. So, ooh, rook c4. Rook c4 was a stalemate. Yeah, no, okay, 50 move rule. Yeah, it's tough to do it in speed chess. I'm not sure that I would be able to. In a normal game, I would do it easily, but in speed chess, not so much. All right, so I think all the games have finished. So moving on to round 3, Big Fish doing very well. Aryun doing great as well. Chess Warrior, I'm taking a look at the standings at the moment, everybody. Ferrugia also doing well. Azeri Chess, 2 out of 2. Illingworth, Karyakin. Karyakin is also participating. So let's find right now. Let me see if I can find Mr. Azeri Chess. If I can. Lots of games, folks. So, okay. He's actually playing against Chess Queen. So this is a nice matchup. So Chess Queen is Alexandra Kostenyuk from Russia. Username Chess Queen. Azeri Chess is Mamajarov, the one and only. So this is a very interesting game to follow. So very solid play by Mamajarov. Usually there's fire on the board. Well, g5 on the board, so that could be considered fire. Takes maybe h4. It's a very double-edged position. Okay, there's a pawn on g5, but after h4, the simple answer is g4, so not that much of a problem. And the king is still in the center, so optically, white is a lot better here. Isolated pawn, bishop pair, weak king side for black, but white is lacking piece play. The bishop on f1 is still not in play. The king hasn't castled yet, so it takes some time for white to create some activity here. And after a move like knight b3, the queen is also a bit of a target here on d4, queen d3. You could even argue, why not go full throttle with f5? And if I have some subs in the chat, could I maybe get some f5 emotes in the chat, please? Let's hope it happens. I'm actually thinking that white's in big trouble. I mean, the rook cannot get into play very quickly if h4, g4. There are some threats concerning maybe g4 and then knight d2. The queen is still a bit stuck. I'm thinking the chess queen might be very much okay here. But okay, it's might not be the end of the world after a move like knight d4. Maybe f3, king f2 at some point. So yeah, but at the very least, Chess Queen is giving Mamajarov a run for his money. He really needs to earn it in this round, it seems. Alright, moving right along. Let's see if we haven't... Where is Mr. Karyakin? Let's see if I can find his game. Because Karyakin, also of course, big name in the chess scene, so... Here you go, playing with the black pieces, Mr. Sergei Karyakin, former world champion challenger. Rook e8 on the board. Debating maybe rook takes d4. Why not, actually? Because black loses. Why not, actually? Rook takes d4 looks very tempting. The concept of hanging pawns. Rook takes c5. I don't know. Karyakin might be in a bit of trouble here. So probably takes, queen takes e2, but then there's a bishop on f5 hanging. So this is the better move, and after rook takes, bishop takes c8. Should be more or less okay for black, it seems. Also tough matchup against. He's playing against Dennis Q from Ukraine. So white needs to do something about this pawn. If this pawn starts running, then Forrest Gump might get jealous, and black might win this game. Yeah, so this pawn needs to be challenged somehow, or at least the queen should be stopped from supporting it. So maybe a move like bishop f1 would be good. Try to disrupt the queen from supporting the pawn. Maybe putting the queen behind the pawn could help. But rather bishop f1. Yeah, makes sense. If queen f3, you do have to be careful of bishop b7 then. But queen f3 is simply met by bishop g2 back. Rook d1. Okay, now the d2 square is under control, so maybe white seems to be doing alright, but if you play rook d2, then queen c1, and suddenly they're back rank threat. So queen d2 looks like a normal solution. If the queen moves, rook moves, no problems whatsoever, and I think that white has managed to solve all the problems. So Karyakin is maybe not winning this game after a move like bishop d3 or bishop e2. Yeah, so also Karyakin getting a run for his money. So let's move on. Yeah, why not? Let's take a look at how Hikaru is doing. Always entertaining. Mr. Speed Chess. Got the bishop, got some mating ideas, but more than anything, Hikaru has a lot more time on the clock. 1 minute versus 8 seconds. Yeah, why not? Why not try it? But what about rook d2 is actually bishop takes d2, so yeah, so winning a pawn. Hikaru seems to be cruising to victory with a lot more time on the clock. So if I had to guess, then Hikaru is doing fantastic. Rook d7. Yeah, nice finish. Rook d8 is a threat, and rook takes d5, so white wins the piece. And Hikaru wins the game. So Hikaru cruising through his games, it seems. Doing very well. Let's take a look at Maxime Vachier-Lagrave once again. Oof, looks very dangerous, but it seems like black has everything under control so far. Protected by the rook. Protected by the bishop. So there's no mate in 1. And black is attacking the bishop, so a move like f4 may need to be played. And actually I've got a notification that Mamedyarov won against Chess Queen, so good opening, but it seems that Mamedyarov won in the end. Ay, that hurts. That hurts. Alright, that's a mate in 1. If not for bishop e8, maybe bishop c6 simply. Actually, I'm missing queen f7 here, so what would have saved the game? Probably queen d5, maybe king g8. Would have saved the game, after which there's no pin and there's no mate on f7 anymore. So yeah, king g8 or queen d5 would have been still okay for Visak from India, but Maxime Vachier-Lagrave winning his game. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah, why not? Let's take a look at Sergei Sigalko from Belarus playing with the black pieces against Suyu from India. Yep, a lot of Indian players. Now the question is this rook ending winning, or if it's a draw? Now there's no question anymore. This is a draw. Rook takes b4, and I think something happened in time trouble because Sergei was looking very strong, but now it's a simple draw. Cheeky move, rook f6. Actually, black might still play this for a win after king g4. Connection problems. Keep in mind, the bars. h4, nah, it's still within margin, so should be a draw. Yeah, expecting a draw. Now the pawn ending should be very easily defended, but you never know. King g2, alright. Just play f4. f4, exchange a pawn for the pawn. Yeah. And it's a draw. Alright, perfect stuff. Unfortunate for both players. Now they are not 100% anymore. Who's next? Let's take a look at Evgeny Nair, and he already won, so top grandmaster once again doing very well. Let's see Tiger Shape, which is Khatakamsky. He also drew, so not 100% anymore. And let's take a look at Mr. Dutch guy, Leon Vrolijk. He was a surprise in the last Title Tuesday, so but here he had to give away a half point against Shapkin, Anatoly Shapkin. So why Real Madrid posted lad? Why? Why Real Madrid? That is Real Madrid, yeah? Or is that FC Port? I don't know which flag that is. This is from a soccer team behind, football team behind the name, but I have no idea which one that is. If it's white, I'm always thinking Real Madrid. I'm not too sure, but chat probably knows, so yep. Let's see if there are still some games left. Yeah, it seems there are. Let me see if they are updated. Only one. Well, this is interesting to look at. Okay, bets in the chat, everyone. How many of you think that this will be a draw? How many of you will think white wins? I am expecting a very one-sided poll on that matter. Okay, this is the final game, everybody. So this is the one that we have to stick with. Take a look at the standings below my lovely, horrific. It's just my face. So take a look at the standings below my face and see if your player is doing well. I can scroll a little bit for you guys so that you... Well, actually I cannot. But yeah, a lot of players still 3 out of 3. So it's all very good. So yeah, this position is a very easy draw. There is no progress to be made by either player. They're just moving around. Maybe the more interesting was, would this be a 50 move rule? Would this be a repetition or whatever? And it turns out that it was the 50 move rule. So that was round 3, everybody. And we are cruising like Tom Cruise towards the next round. Round 4 will start in a second. And let's put one of the top players on the board. Arjun versus SG Chess, 2 players with 3 out of 3 still. And black played h6, which looks terrible, but it's quite nifty because now the bishop can move to h7. Polish international master against grandmaster from India. So many Indian players once again. Rook b8. A move you could argue is not the best because it's... I don't know. Black does not have the option to play long castle anymore, and now after bishop f4 it's clear that black is in dire straits because the pawn on b7 will fall without much compensation, and actually after queen takes it's actually a full pawn. So white doing very well here and also more development, so I'm saying this will be a win for Mr. Arjun. Yeah, let's move on. So many games to take a look at. So this is a very interesting clash, everybody. Clash is the English pronunciation. I'm Dutch, please forgive me. So what's going on here? It's Igor Kovalenko, who was former European champion, if I'm not mistaken, playing against Lion Beast. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, obviously. And it seems that Maxime is doing very well, because the bishop on e6 is a bit trapped. So knight g5 looks like a positional huge advantage. The bishop needs to be exchanged on e6, after which the pawn can be easily attacked with bishop g4. So yeah, this looks very, very good for white. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see much here for black, to be honest. a5 is a good move, at least putting some pressure on b4, which is better than nothing. So if b5, then the knight can go to c5 afterwards at some point, so that would be good for black. So what would be the ideal situation? You could argue that knight e4 might be a good idea to protect the pawn with the queen instead. and which does not allow a knight c5 move. Bishop g4 also definitely a candidate, but white is giving up the b4 pawn to get the e6 pawn. White is definitely in charge here still, but at least material is equal now. But white's looking very, very good here once again. Knight e4 is nice, so if you play bishop takes here, queen takes b2, it's check, and the knight on b4 is attacked, so don't take on b2, Mr. Eagle. Knight e6, very good move. You could maybe play knight g5, knight f7 threats. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, I'm gonna say that this looks very, very close to winning for white. Okay, moving right along towards home. Let's take a look at Vidit. Mr. Vidit was a finalist in the previous Grand Prix Title Tuesday. He made it to the knockout finals against Hikaru, all the way to the Armageddon game, but he lost unfortunately to Hikaru. So one of the favorites in this tournament, you could argue. And second of all, Vidit, I had something else to say. Yeah, the knockout, of course, let me remind everyone, there's no knockouts. It's 11 rounds Title Tuesday. The Grand Prix qualifications are over. This is just a regular Title Tuesday with 11 rounds, and the winner will just get a prize. That's all there is to it. So Swimmer Chess, we've seen a lot. He's been playing in Title Tuesdays very consistently, doing very well as well, and doing pretty well as well. Oh well, in this game as well. Well. Alright, so the problem for black is this e-file, which gives white some play, I would say. The ending might still be okay for black because not a lot of weakness in black's camp, and after d takes, b takes, let's say queen takes is on the board. D takes, b takes, black can maybe get some counterplay in by playing over the b file. So I'm guessing that should give enough counterplay. I think that's a draw offer, but we'll have to see if that actually... Let me see who offered the draw. Vidit offered the draw. But white's playing on, and rightly so. I would think that white has some chances here. Rook d7, rook a6. Nice defense by Vidit, who apparently has a YouTube channel now, so everybody follow his channel. I would. And yeah, so what's next? Shall we move on? Yeah, let's move on. Rook endings are thrilling, but I have a lot of ground to cover today. So let's move on to another player. Anna, well, I would think, yeah, don't know the players' names. These players are unknown to me. But so if you know the player, then give it a mention in the chat, please, so that everybody know who these players are. Grandmasters from respectively France and Kazakhstan, I believe. Let me cheat a little bit here. Yep, Kazakhstan. Who is good and why? So white's threatening mate. Can black do anything about it? Yep, he can, but white has 3 pawns and an attack, so white is doing very, very well. Time trouble is of the essence here, though. Queen f6, how can black defend the knight? If knight c6, then queen f7 looks devastating. So queen h7 only moves, but then queen f7 anyways. Queen d2, disrupting its play. Rook b8, threatening mate in 1. Knight c6, queen f7 looks over. Yep, my engine says plus 27 for white. I tend to believe that evaluation means that white is winning. So, and it's a mate, so there you go. Next game. Sugarov is next. Aha, of course. Equal material, but this pawn could mean the end for black if black's not careful. Sacrificing a pawn. This, if the pawn ever comes there, it should be winning. Okay, now white's sacrificing all the pawns in order for this pawn to advance. So, and actually, that's what's happening here. Shugirov should win this game, has more time, so this is over as well. Moving right along, how is Mr. Firouzja doing in this round? Very good, he already won this game, so he's on 4 out of 4. Okay, finding games, trying to find games that are still going on. Did Hikaru win? No, Hikaru actually made a draw. So Hikaru is not had to make a fortress in this position, and it seems that there was a free move repetition, but white has 2 pawns more and a queen. You could argue that this, well, actually after king d3 there's knight b4, so maybe a draw was practically the right decision for white. Okay, not a lot of games left. We've got Gogiev, not mentioned. Mr. Anton Korobov, still 100%, so doing very well once again. Alexander Moskalenko lost to WIDBIFS. That sounds like a barcode, but I'm sure it stands for something. And Firouzja, no, you already got that. Alright, seeing if there is still some games left. We got Lion Beast winning against Kovalenko. I don't see a lot of games left. Ah, there you go. It's updated, so... Yeah, Manukyan Artak won his pawn ending. The queen cannot be stopped, so there's only one game left, and that's winning as well. Alright guys, with that, round 4 has ended and we are going to go on a scheduled break. I have been told to call it a fair play break, and otherwise we have to get some advertisements in as well, and I need to get a breather. So we'll be back in a few minutes and you can enjoy some nice epic music and some upcoming events on Chess.com. So here you go. I'll be right back. Alright, and we are back. So yeah, this is more or less my starting screen, but of course we are going to dive right back into the games because round 5 has already started. So we are moving on to immediately to the game. So let me see if I can well, change everything. Well, here we are. Alright, so this was the previous round. Let's move on to round 5, everybody. So I saw the standings and there are actually still 20 players with 4 out of 4, of which you can see now 10 players below my lovely, horrific, or whatever face you might call me. So there you go. And we've got a nice clash between Fandorin and Lion Beast. So Fandorin, if I'm not mistaken, that's Mr. Chigayev, and Chigayev from Russia has been shown to be an excellent speed chess player as well. So this is one of the top matches of this round. Very, very good. Very solid Caracan opening. I have played, I think... No, I haven't played... I played once against Chigayev and he did not play the Caracan against me, but Chigayev is white, so... Yeah, scratch that. Who's better and why? I think it's about equal. Black has a very solid position. If queens get traded, it's very hard for both players to advance in this position. I like queen a6, therefore black is trying to make something out of this position. If I were white, I would just retreat the knight back, retaining a solid position as white. So not to take too many risks, because if you take too many risks, you could end up worse in this position, which is not the case at the moment. So yeah. Very, very good. So double-edged position, I'm not sure who I would pick. As you can see, I'm all for black and white, so it doesn't really matter. So let me know in the chat what you guys think. Would you rather pick black or would you rather pick white here? I think black, but that's because Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is actually with the black pieces. And actually I like the white square domination here for black. So if black allows some counterplay with something like h4, h5, it might get dire, but it's still a long way from that. So I'm thinking that black should... I would rather pick black here, but it's still a long way to convert for Maxime. Let's move on. Next game. So of course we have a lot of clashes today. We've got Verdenotte, Mr. Gawain Jones with the white pieces versus Firouzja. Bishop c5, cheeky move. If white takes, black takes, check, and wins the rook on a1. So don't take. Would Firouzja be singing like "Take on me"? That would be hilarious. Okay, bishop e3 on the board, much more sane. Knight e2, king f2. I don't know who's better and why. I mean, bishop takes, king takes, and white has a nice center on the board, so... Yeah, I'm guessing white is okay here. g4, h5, e6. Man, this is hard to decipher. I'll leave it up to Firouzja to... Oh, actually, e6 is met by bishop takes e6, because the rook on f1 is pinned, so... White might actually be in trouble after a move like h5. Yeah, or rook e8. I mean, the pawn on e5 is hanging. e6 cannot be played, so king d4. But what now? Now h5? Yeah, because if white takes, we can grab the f5 pawn, but the problem after h5 is knight d2. After taking, now e6 can be played, the bishop has to move back. And with these pawns still connected, okay, g6 probably on the next move. I'm expecting black to be okay here. So we'll see what happens. h5 on the board, knight d2 played, h takes... Wow, I'm on fire today, okay. Yeah, this is actually the position on the board. So I'm guessing that black is doing alright here. Yeah, but still very complicated. So, yeah, let's move right along. We've got a lot more ground to cover. Let's see if there's another big clash here. Is there? Yeah, we've got Mr. Dubov. Wowzers. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say that with this queen up, oops, white might be winning. Yeah. I'm expecting white to be winning here. Takes rook d1. Yep. And that's all she wrote for Mr. Levon Pantsulaya. That's a 0 for you, unfortunately. Alright, that was a quick game. Let's move on to Mr. Mamajarov with the white pieces. Another endgame. Materials equal, both have 5 pawns. White has the more active pieces though. Rook takes h5 is met by bishop takes f6 because this is a pin. So king d3, e5 and then try to win a pawn should be the way to go for white. But e5 is met by king d7, okay, but now rook h... I don't know. That's a cheeky move, so if you take... e6 wins now. Oops. f7, rook takes f2, f8, rook takes f8, and rook a8. I'm sure that will be on the board. Let's see if I can play the wizard here and predict some of the moves or resignation. Oh, that's I predicted wrong, but this is the move order is not important. White simply is a rook up. This is the position I had in mind. And white should gobble up all the pawns. Rook h8, king moves here. Should be over. Yeah. Mamajarov will be on 5 out of 5, everybody. So looking good for the Azerbaijani player. Number 1 from Azerbaijan. Let's move right along to Mr. whom? Abdusatorov. Yeah. It's my choice. Never mind. Moving right along to another game. Abdusatorov won again. So he's on 4.5 out of 5. Doing very well so far. And here we got the French player again. The mysterious French player. Anawel. Against Shield 12. I wrote that down, I think. Yeah, that's Mr. Fokidov. From... oh my god. What's this name? Uzbekistan, of course. And it looks like black is certainly winning here. 2 pawns, a knight and a bishop versus a rook. Should be way too much material. So black should be able to win this. If of course nothing strange happens in time trouble. It is still speed chess, not so easy to convert, but I think now it's easy. Just h2, bring a knight to f2 and it should be over. Or, ooh, that makes things a lot easier for Mr. Anawel. So, Mysterious Grandmaster from France doing absolutely fantastic. 5 out of 5 so far. Let's see how Karyakin is doing. So, never mind. He drew against Grandmaster Bharat Akoti. Tough name to pronounce. Excuse me for that. I'll apologize in advance. So only 5 games left. We've got Katerina Miroshnik playing against German Bazeev, German from Russia. Okay, I'm sure there's a point behind that. But time trouble. Rook ending should be a draw. Even though black is a pawn up, it should be a draw. 2 against 1, but this one requires some technique. King g4, should be easy enough. Just f4 and it should be a draw. Yeah, king takes. Oh, wait, what? Now rook takes f4, now it's lost. This is 2 pawns. Too much, unfortunately. Alright, so this should be over, but actually we saw Mr. Dingley run make a draw in an endgame like this. So let's see if Mr. German can make it happen this time. Made in 2. Okay, missed. Alright, but good enough. So let's see if there's still 1 game left. Nope, that's a draw. Yep, that's over. That's over as well. I'm guessing that round 6 is about to start. So let me update the standings for everybody. I'll try to do this more regularly. And actually we've got 8 players with 5 out of 5 at the moment. Actually there's 1 more game. Nope, a draw. So 8 players with 5 out of 5 so far. So let me scroll through the standings real quick. So we've got Mr. Dubov, Mr. Aryan from India, Mr. Shugaro from Russia, Mr. Bortnik, always doing pretty well on Title Tuesdays, from Ukraine, Maxim Vashilegraf, Mamajarov, Anawel, and Mr. Peter Mikalik, if I'm not mistaken, from Russia. Oh no, that's not Peter Mikalik. Alright, I'll figure out who this is. A famous player nonetheless, so let's keep an eye out for him. And there are like 15 players with 4.5, amongst them Mr. Hikaru Nakamura. So, alright, moving right along to round 6. Aryan versus Maxim Vashil. No, that's not true. Mamajarov, of course. Playing the Open Spanish. Aryan playing very solid here so far. Oh yeah, by the way guys, keep an eye out for the chat, because if I don't know username, who the player is, then chat could help me at some point. And actually there was a draw offer from Black. So Mamajarov also offered a draw here, but Aryan declined, or he played too fast to even see the draw offer. So it remains a mystery what happened there. But okay, the 2 top dogs will keep playing. I'm not sure who's better. I like Queen h4, very complicated stuff now after Knight f3 and Queen h5. Bishop e3 should be fairly straightforward, and then at some point I'm expecting a Bishop g4 attempt by Black, but yeah, the problem for Black is this square on c5. If White can somehow control the c5 square, then usually White has a positional advantage, but of course Black can also play f6 ideas at some point. But the thing is, positionally Black is worse, but with activity Black can compensate for that minor positional deficit. So, and h3, can you take? What about taking a rook e6? Is that too much? Looks interesting. Maybe first take here. Threatening at least a draw. Looks interesting enough. It's bishop takes h3, definitely something to consider, and it's played. Look at that. Alright, so Mamajarov going for the kill. Okay, but this is over after queen g4, right? How can you protect mate? You cannot. g3 has to be played. Then after bishop takes, rook takes, knight takes c5, Black's an exchange up, and a full one at that. So I'm expecting Mamajarov to win this one. And Lion Beast against Anawel, the 2 French grandmasters, top players, making a draw. So those are the 2 first players on 5.5 out of 6 so far. Alright, so looking very good for Mamajarov. And moving right along. I'm trying to determine by the picture who this player is, but I should be able to know who he is. Alright, I'll find out later. Maybe... Yeah. Chat, please help me out. I should know who the black player is. I know he's a famous grandmaster. Please help me out, Dad. Alright. So, how is he doing? Alright, it seems. Nice active knight on d3. It cannot really be attacked by anything. Rook d2, rook d1. Might be considered an idea, but it's black to move here even. So you could argue, why not just grab a pawn? Well, that argument is quickly removed because rook takes d7. The rook is hanging on d7. Okay, black is trying the tactical route. What about simply knight d4? Bishop d4 perhaps. Not sure that that was a good move, but okay, it might be okay. Maybe rook d2. Actually, knight c2 is a big threat, so white needs to react to this adequately. While I ask a question. And yeah, so rook c8. Black is definitely on top here. Of course, this is... now I remember. It's Alexei Sarana, of course. The youngster from Russia. Big player in the speed chess scene. And definitely also in the youth speed chess scene. So I'm expecting him to do very well here. Actually, he was one of the strongholders in the Olympiad as well for the Russian team. So, alright, so big news, everybody. Mamedyarov lost his game. And I have no idea why. So far, so good. Exchange up. Exchange up. You hate to see it, guys. It's a mouse slip. It's a mouse slip. So rook d5 on the board. Bishop takes d5. And Mamedyarov lost the game against Aryan. Tragic stuff. This is what happens. In my first title Tuesday in 2 months, which was last week, in round 1, I did a mouse slip like this as well. It was even worse. I gave up my queen. Yeah. So I know how it feels, Chuck. I hope you can bounce back from this because you deserve this win here. Aryan moving on to 6 out of 6. Lucky. But yeah, luck is part of the game sometimes. So very well. Moving on. Moving right along. Who's next? Let's take a look at how Hikaru is doing. Hikaru, by the way, also streaming himself, of course. And Hikaru doing very well against Vuga Rasulov. Vuga Rasulov has won a lot of Arena Kings back in the day, I believe. Always looking for a top spot there. But here, looking... This looks winning for black. If bishop takes, rook takes f2. What? Okay, that was surprising. I'm expecting Hikaru simply to be winning. Cannot be taken because of rook c1. So white's trying to complicate things, but it's just... The pawn is too forward. Alright, so Hikaru on 5.5 out of 6. So he's joining Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, Firouzja, Avantage from Russia in the 5.5 out of 6 club. Let's check back on Sarana. Sarana doing... he's in trouble against Bortnik. Bortnik is actually a pawn up in descending. e5, very nice move. Saving... Yeah, that was a very educational rook ending move there. So the point is now that the f-pawn is not connected anymore. And the king can keep tabs on the f-pawn here. So I'm guessing that white needs to grab a draw here. I'm expecting a draw. Please don't embarrass me. A draw. If this doesn't end up in a draw, this commentator will look a bit... Oh, but this looks like a pre-pawn over here. Rook g5, is that a second pawn? Could have been. No, that would have been a draw. So rook f4 was the better one. Wow, what quick calculation. So 1 second on the clock for Alexander Bolknik. Sarana 6 seconds. I'm even having trouble keeping the speed up. Okay, so keep in mind they have 1 second increment per move. Yeah, okay, but they're playing really fast. Rook e6, rook e5 might be a winning ending. Rook g4, very nice defense here. Yeah, it should still be a draw. I mean, Serrano's playing very fast as well. And especially with the rook on c4, it's simply very hard to win this. Okay, I see a username that I don't see very often, so I have to check it. It's Uwe, French player, but I guess he's a fan of the former Dutch world champion. Drawing against his opponent from Chile, so that's all she wrote. White won. Actually, this might be the last game of this round. So let's see if White can swindle his way into a win here. Not expecting it, but you never know. Draw offer. Declined. Should be easy enough. The players have been playing so fast that they now have more than enough on the clock. And there is a player who keeps offering a draw. Yep, keeps offering a draw. Twice now. But 50 move rule also clinches a draw for Sarana. So both players 5.5 out of 6. Still doing very well. A draw is not the end of the world. Keep in mind, we've just passed the half point of this tournament. We have 11 rounds in total. So, knight f4. Okay. White won on time. Okay, that's painful. Right. So standings are updated, as you guys can see, but I'm gonna take a quick mention of the format. If you just tuned in, this is a regular Title Tuesday. The Grand Prix section is over. We've the qualifiers for the tournament for the Speed Chess Championship, which will start next month, is over, and now we have a regular Tuesday. So let me show you guys the format. Badoing, it's 11 round Swiss, and starting from now we have a Title Tuesday, normal Title Tuesday, normal Title Tuesdays again, time control 3 minutes with 1 second increment, and this time the payout is based on tie breaks. The tie breaks you will find next to the standings, and let me also show you what's at stake here. So it's just about prizes this time. First place is $750, which is not too shabby. And the best stream and best female get $100. Second, third, and fourth place also get prizes. But I have to move right along. You guys are probably missing my face already. Probably not, but okay. Hey, think positively, right? And now we're moving on to round 7. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Number 1 against number 2, Duelas, which is Mr. Dubov, Daniel Dubov, my former teammate in Eskilstuna Amstetten at some point. And he's playing against Arjun, who just got a free rook against Mamjarov. And who's better and why? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with this opening. I'm an e4 player myself, and with black I tend to push the f4 into f5. So if I have some subs in the chat, I have a few, not too many, but spam the f5 emote please, just for funsies. But yeah, I'm expecting white to be a bit better because the rooks are already connected and they can take control over the files a bit quicker. White still pawn up, but I'm expecting knight takes c5 or bishop takes c5. There you go. Okay, c1, I suppose. So what's so solid about black's position is that this bishop cannot really get into play. If you play knight d4, then bishop takes g2, exchanges one pair of bishops, and there's no problem for black. Symmetrical position, white should be slightly better with the slightly more active knights and rook already on d1, but should not be that much, so we'll just have to see what's happening in this game. Right, moving right along to board 2. Hikaru playing against the mystery grandmaster from France, and let me lift that mystery by asking who is on a roll. And who's better and why? White is having the initiative here, so Hikaru doing very well so far. G4, very aggressive play. Could backfire if black is adequate, but G5 is a nasty threat. Black cannot take because of the knight takes G5. White just has a mate over here. So black is in trouble. What to do after G5? I'm expecting you don't take at the very least, but play a move like G6. And after queen takes, it's still very hard for white to continue the attack, especially when black has counterplay of queen takes b2. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll see. So G5 played, queen takes, rook C7. If G6 is on the board, my wizard skills will be tremendous. No. Never mind. Queen F5 on the board. Also very good. Stopping G takes H6 even, but allowing white to take here. How is the endgame? Better for white, because the rook is a little bit more active on C7. So. Okay. So the mystery player is actually not a mystery player anymore. Mr. Annabelle is actually Jules Moussard, grandmaster from France, obviously. And yeah, rating about 2600 at this moment, official feeder rating, so definitely good player. Obviously, every player in this title Tuesday is just awesome. And you guys are awesome, by the way. A reference to Keanu Reeves, who did that very, very nicely. What a nice guy. Alright, so, but you guys are nice too. Alright. Moving right along, interesting game, Queen G5. Hikaru is set on playing this endgame, which surprises me a little because, okay, active rook versus passive rook. Okay, that now it all makes sense. I guess white is slightly better there, but how to continue? I guess you just want to bring the king all the way to B5 perhaps, but just G6 I would say. Black should be alright. Yeah, Jules Moussard also known for his participation in Pro Chess League for the Cannes something, for the Cannes team, I believe. Anyways, that's my memory blanking out a little bit. He played for a French team and also doing very well in the Pro Chess League back in the day. So he certainly has his share of experience in the speed chess scene. Right, but I've spent too much time on this already. Hikaru Nakamura winning a pawn, losing a pawn. So yeah, double edge. We'll see who will win this. Let's check machine for Shayla Graf in this very funny closed position. White is not a pawn up, and after e4, f takes e4, he will be a pawn down. But look at all the beautiful pieces of black, and why I'm coloring this blue is a mystery to me. Bishop e8, look at this knight. Okay, white's cruising through now. 1 minute versus 1 second as well, so Maxime winning this game. Very nice. So he will be on 7.5. No, that's correct me. 6.5 out of 7. So Maxime Vazier-Graf still in the lead. Firouzja, how's the youngster from Iran doing? Oof, he's in a little bit of pressure by white. White has got the slightly better pawn structure. Oh, that's my move. I made a move there. The real move that was played was rook takes f5, and now king f6. h4. Now we're back to the real game. Okay, so for all you Farouche Avantage fans out there, he did not make a mouse slip, I did. And now you know why I'm a commentator and not playing in this event, because yeah, my mouse slips are very frequent for me. Yeah. So yeah, once again, check my channel right below if you want to see more mouse slips, which are very entertaining but not so fun for me. Yeah, alright, so king d6. Farouche should be able to make this a draw. Black is playing very fast, hoping for a mistake, obviously. Rook f5. If rook takes, e takes, it's a dead draw, so a draw moving right along. A draw offered, and once again, and accepted. So, Sarana, oh, not looking too hot at this point. Playing against WID Mr. Barcode. I'm just going to call him Barcode. But okay, losing the pawn, now it should be a draw. So, but time is of the essence. Not anymore, because it's not too much material left for attempted wins. Verdenotte against Big Fish. Winning against Verdenotte, which is Gawain Jones. So, nice victory. Let's take a look at Matthias Bluebaum. He won against Little Peasant. Little Peasant. I think that used to be, how do you say, calling people names like that, but okay. It's a username. Usernames are free. It's a democratic username, let's say. Alright. Enough joking. Let's see how Sip Elephant is doing. And all right. All right. So I'm not sure if I need to keep going, but apparently there's a break. Okay, apparently I am just confused. Alright, yes, I'm just confused. We'll just keep going. Sorry, I got a mention. I got a message and I got a little bit distracted. I was confused. Apparently I was offline for some moment. I thought, but it turns out that I'm still here. So that made my heart very warm. So I'm still visible for you guys. Hopefully that made your heart warm as well, that I'm still here. Oh, this is always fun. So Anamaya, hey Anamaya, very nice. So I did streams with Anamaya at some point, so I'm hoping she will do very well here. Let's see if she can win this. Don't lose on time, Anamaya. So the point is to keep, the rook needs to be on the a draw. Okay, yeah, this is very hard, of course, to win. When you have not a lot of seconds left. But this is winning for black now. This is a famous Philidor position. You move the rook around so that the rook will get on the 6th rank at some point, and then white cannot save the position anymore. But okay, keep an eye out for my channel. I did a big analysis on this at some point. And now this has been round 7. So yeah, so the message I got was actually that we're moving on to a break right now. So the players will have a break and I will too. So here you go, everybody. Some slideshow for more events coming up in the next period. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, and we are back, everybody. Yes, if you're wondering what I'm doing during the breaks, well, I don't know. I do a little dance. I just jump around on the balcony or something and shout against the neighbors, frying some chicken in the meantime, or we can just leave it up to your imagination, of course. All right, so moving right along, of course, we have some action. Round 8 has started. So let's go and let me find the right overlay. Yeah, this was the one. All right, so this was the previous game, of course. By the way, Anamaya with the white pieces is actually streaming herself. So do give her a follow if you're interested. Let's quickly take a look at the standings. So we've got 4 people with 6.5 out of 7. Then a bunch with 6 out of 7. How many participants are there in this tournament? 542 players left. And so a lot of people are participating. And so it will be crowded in the standings below my lovely / horrible face, however you prefer to interpret my face. So there you go. So let's move on to the game. So we've got a big clash. We've got Hikaru playing against Maxime Vacher-Legraf. And wait. Maxime is offered a pawn on b7, but I'm guessing that after queen e7, so let me, yeah. So white had to give the pawn back. And that's why white exchanged on e4. Okay, so very solid opening from Hikaru. This pawn might be weak at some point, but if white keeps an eye on it, and white simply has no weakness in this position, so I'm expecting this to be a very positional game where I don't know if either player could try to break through here. This maneuver is very nice. The knight's pretty well placed on d6, and I'm expecting maybe a b6 break at some point. So yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, I'm protecting. No, not protecting. I'm predicting. That's the correct English word, Merlin. Top players' moves. I'm happy with myself. All right. So moving right along. This is okay. I'm expecting this to be a draw, but we'll see what happens. You never know what happens, of course. So let's move on to the other number 1 player, which is Duelist. He is Mr. Daniel Dubov, of course, 2700 player from Russia, playing against Big Fish, former 2700 player from Russia. He's now 2650, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a knight on f7. Nani? What's the logic there? Okay, king takes b4, knight needs to move rook d7. That's the idea. And then black will be in huge trouble. So actually this is a nice sacrifice. Now take, okay, not accepting it. Worst case scenario, the knight can just bounce back. But maybe there's something better after taking. And knight d6. Yeah, this looks very, very good for white. I'm thinking the Dubov might have screwed up here. King takes f7 needs to be played now, because if you take here, then knight d6 at the very least wins an exchange. So, oh no, he does it, but knight d6. Maybe he thought queen d7 or rook d8 is still possible. That might be still possible, actually, because let's say you do this. If you take, it's made in once. So, yeah, but what? So if you play queen here, actually maybe it's very simple. Maybe white can simply protect the rook somehow. If rook d8, for example, rook c1 attacking the queen, looks pretty decent. Maybe simply queen e5. The queen looks pretty good on e5 as well. Yeah, at the very least, black is in huge trouble. Actually, I think I see it. Queen e2 is very good. Protecting the rook, attacking the bishop, and also attacking the rook. So Queen e2 looks very good. Otherwise, queen d4, also good. Bishop goes, knight takes, so... Yeah, this is a victory for Fedoseev. Fedoseev looking very strong. Winning against his countryman, Daniil Dubov. Alright, so Dubov losing his first place spot, most likely. Okay, then we've got one more number one player, Mr. Arjun, and he is with white. I see nothing but solid positions from him, so he's a very solid player. This is not very solid though, just when I say it obviously. Because now the b2 pawn will be under attack, and if rook b1, the rook is passive, this one's active, and black can try to create some counterplay. Knight e4 looks very tempting, attacking these two pawns. White needs to be very careful. Sib Elephant looking very strong. Keep forgetting who Sib Elephant is. Let me check who that is. Rook a4, so black is a pawn up, but probably losing this guy. 92, king h2. Oh, wow, there's a trick in the position. 92, king h2. This could be something I would fall for most definitely. Mate threat on h5 and the knight on b5 falls. So, did that happen on the board? No, rook c1, king f2, knight h1. Okay, let's just move on. There's now a pawn on h4. Okay, I did not see what happened there. King f1, h3, rook h4 I'm expecting, but then knight g3, h2. Yeah, black is winning. Sib Elephant is winning. So Sib Elephant, wait, was that a draw offer? No, there was not a draw offer. Every time I hear a little ping, I think it's a draw offer, but it's not. You guys cannot hear the draw offers, but okay, I'll keep you updated. I'm here for you guys. So yeah, Sib Elephant is Artemiev, actually, of course, the 2700 youngster. I think the winner of the Gibraltar tournament at some point. Great young player, bright future ahead. 2750, obviously. Okay, you guys probably already knew that, so I'll shut up. Hikaru Lion Beast was a draw. Fedoseev indeed managed to win. We've got Kovalenko against TPT again. TPT, alright. Alright, my imagination is running amok for what TPT could stand for. I will not pronounce my faults there, but you guys can in the chat. You guys don't have a job to do here. You guys can just go right ahead what TPT stands for. White's a pawn up. Is this rook ending winning? Don't play king d6. Alright, very good. And white has winning chances, but not anymore, it seems. Now, in the worst case, black can just keep checking. This might be even more solid. Rook g7, don't go here. Now you can, because there's no rook here. Now this should be e7. So there are still some tricks in the position. Kovalenko, keeping a sharp mind. 10 seconds should be enough to survive this position. Rook e1, nice try. Rook g7 and a draw. Right, moving right along. Let's take a look at Firouzja. Firouzja lost to Giga Kuparadze. So Firouzja is now 6 out of 8. Does that mean he's out of contention for the top prize? He might very well be, but I'm not too sure. And let's take a look at, so Sasha Dove has 7 out of 8. There are actually 12 people so far with 7 out of 8. So nobody has 7.5 out of 8. 12 tournament leaders, amongst them Hikaru Nakamura again. And my heart is burning to say that I don't see any Dutch countrymen, unfortunately. Yeah. But okay, let me cry silently and let's move on to another game. Chess Warrior playing against Andrew Mako. Chess Warrior not doing too hot in this tournament, it seems. Making a draw here too, so he's on 5 out of 8. I think I can say the chess warrior Mr. Abdusatorov, the youngster from Uzbekistan, will not be in the prizes in this tournament. Draw offered, this time accepted. See if there is another game going on. We've got Krikor, he's streaming as well on his channel. Lots of streamers, everybody, so if you like an overview like this, then stay here on the Chess Twitch channel. Otherwise, there are also a lot of Chess.com streamers out there you can follow, amongst no other than tournament candidate Hikaru Nakamura. Is there still a game? I don't think so. Nope, round 9 has started, everybody, and the standings have been updated. So we got 12 people with 7 out of 8, and then 100 people with 6 and no, that's not true. I'm joking. And then we've got a bunch with 6.5 still. So yeah, the game is still open. Let's move on right along to Hikaru Nakamura playing the Berlin, I believe. Yep, Hikaru playing solid with the Berlin and playing against Yospem, top grandmaster, I believe, from Peru. Who's better and why? I like white because of the bishop over here. It cannot be attacked, but after queen e2, maybe something like knight h5, black definitely has some potential to be alright in this game. Yeah, very complicated game. Opening seems to be alright for both players. I had to think about that one, but yeah, both players are doing alright. Now, Hikaru could offer a draw here with knight c6, bishop b5, knight e7, bishop e2 back. So yeah, will that happen? Of course not. Hikaru is going for the win. But after knight c4, I think I prefer white, with the potential to grab the bishop pair, with the potential to play knight e3, knight f5, with another potential bishop pair grab. So I'm actually thinking that Yospem has the better position here, but we'll see what's going on. Knight c8, once again with a knight c8 idea there. So Hikaru likes his knight c8 in this tournament. c4 might be an idea. Alright, so Hikaru under pressure. Let's see if he swindles himself out of this, but let's move on to, once again, Artemiev against Matthias Bluebaum. I'm just cruising through the game, guys. I have a lot of ground to cover, and the standings will be updated all the time. So keep an eye out below me, below the camera. There are the standings. Obviously, you guys are looking obviously at the layout with keen eyes, with sharp eyes. You guys, for you guys, it might not even be evening. For me, it is. So, but yeah, you guys are probably much more sharp than me. So, Bluebaum, MSB2, Matthias Bluebaum, one of the top players from Germany, playing against Sip Elephant, Artemiev, top player from Russia. Who's better and why? That's up to you guys, because I think it's about equal. Safe. Okay, so b3, knight takes f3, gives the bishop pair, but takes the bishop pair, but white still has a knight on d5. And this bishop can move to c3, where it stands quite perfectly. So this position is very double-edged. I'm not too sure who's better and why. But we'll see. Long think now for Matthias Bluebaum. The problem is this bishop. The bishop is sort of a glorified pawn right now. Bishop g2, not allowing black to give the option. So yeah, bishop a5 was a move I was considering, but b4, I guess c takes, a takes, bishop b6, and then there's a c4 pawn hanging. So b4 maybe a little bit too risky. But what about bishop c1? Is this too much? Yeah, okay, I think it's an okay move. because the bishop is still awkward on a5. It doesn't do a lot, and if you can get the bishop towards b2, white should be very good. Am I predicting a move once again, or is this too fancy? Maybe it's too fancy, huh? Yeah, it's too fancy, alright. Does not agree. Knight f4, very logical move. Bishop needs to go. And then you can pile up the pressure on the d6 pawn. Makes much more sense anyway. Alright, so complicated game. Two top. So we've got 12 players in first place with 7 out of 8. Let's move right along to Big Fish. Fedoseev. I'm focusing on the top players, everybody, because there are a lot of participants here and it's all about the prizes in this tournament. So I'm focusing on the top players right now. It's not your standard title. It's your standard title Tuesday again. So that's what it's all about. First place, second place, third place. That's what it's all about. All right, who's better and why? White's got the bishop pair. I'm thinking bishop c3, trapping the rook, but there will be some sacrifices on g3 perhaps. That's my move. This is why I don't participate, guys. I make mouse slips all the time. Yeah, if you want to see me rage, then come check my channel and we'll see if I can hold my anger while I'm making a mouse slip. Alright, bishop c5, cheeky move. Can white take is the question. You can, but might not be the best. And now white... I think Beka is winning this. I actually wrote down who Beka is. That's Alexander Indijic, a top player from Serbia. And it seems to me that he is cruising to keep his spot in the... Yeah, he won against Fedoseev. That's a big result from Indijic. And Azeri Chess, as you can see, that's Mr. Mamajarov. 8 out of 9. So after his blunder against Ayun, where he lost a full rook, he's now on 8 out of 9 again. But let's keep on going. How's Maxime Vachier-Lagrave doing? Once again, we see an opposite color bishop ending, but it seems that this is gonna end in a draw like this. So not much to say about this game, I believe. A draw, Giga Kuparadze. Yeah, just bishop takes the rook f4. Okay, so it's not over yet, but yeah, the bishop is taking control over this pawn. The rook is nicely eyeing this the king side here. Hikaru won his game as well, so he's also on 8 out of 9. Let's move back to Matthias Bluebaum against Artemiev. This is very exciting. White is a... Okay, but now it's over. Queen f8, rook d7, and it's mate. So Artemiev also cruising on to 8 out of 9. We got the standings are getting clearer and clearer. Who else should we follow? Sergei Karyakin, of course. His name was screaming my attention, and he is losing this game. Yeah, not a good moment to tune in. Why is he losing? Now he's not losing anymore. Now it's... this might be interesting. What is this rook ending? This pawn is running. These pawns is running. Both camps have got good Forrest Gumps in their lineup. Queen c7. What is happening here? Oh, that hurts. Okay, that wins the queen, but Karyakin is on 3 seconds. Will he win this? Most likely, because now we also get 2 pawns. Wow, that was intense. And this should be over. White won by resignation. Nicely done. So Karyakin also in the race with 7.5 out of 9. That's correct. And I'm guessing he's saying well played against his opponent. And yeah, wanted to give some attention to this streamer as well, Mr. Astana from Ireland. Yeah, he's winning, so let's move right along. Verdenotte against Arjun. 2 top players still, of course, so 6.5 out of 8. Let's see if one of them can get to. By the way, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave indeed made a draw. Astana, the player we just saw, won his game, so and this should be a draw. But you never know, of course. We've seen a lot of players in Title Tuesdays winning knight and rook endings versus rooks. So, yeah, why not try this for 50 moves? I'm not sticking around to see what's happening here. I'm moving on to a more interesting game. Not this one, obviously, because this one's already over. This one, Legend Unknown. Legendin Unknown. Because that's the female version of it. And this should be made after Queen A3 especially. Ah, okay, wait, not over yet. This should be over. King B3, Zugzwang, Queen E2, and that's it, folks. So let's take a look at the standings. These are all the games so far. So the standings are 5 players with 8 out of 9, and then 7 players with 7.5 out of 9, and of course a bunch of players with 7 out of 9. There you go. With so many participants, I can expect that the 7 out of 9 players have to win all their games to get into contention for a prize. Yeah, so yeah, probably if you want to win a prize, you have to get at least 9 out of 11. That's my calculation. I'm not a math wizard, but that's my logical reasoning. We'll see if that is the case, though. Hikaru, still an 8 out of 9. He's playing on board 1 again, and he's playing against Alexei Sarana. I like knight d7, looks strange blocking his own bishop, but this bishop is going to be tremendous on this diagonal. Who's better and why? I think it's about equal. White has the more annoying position though. King h8 I like, anticipating bishop h6 shenanigans. Rook d1, e5 I'm not too happy about, but of course you can follow it up by f5, and now I'm really happy. Time to spend those f5 emotes, everybody. Let's go. Hey, f5 is the greatest move ever, isn't it? In any position, even on move 1. Alright, enough joking, let's move on. Rook f1. F4. Black is doing very well here. Maybe even queen d7, rook f8 looks normal. Maybe even queen g8 and rook f8. That would be very funny to see. Because what black wants is to control the white squares. Queen d7, okay, my fanciness does not suit every player, of course. If knight e4, maybe d5 is happening. If knight d5, then the knight can be exchanged and the pawn structure is bad. So black is definitely better. Hikaru in trouble. Rook takes f4. Rook f8. If rook takes, queen takes, black takes control over the f-file. This is looking very dire for Hikaru. Yeah, just exchange everything. Queen e6. Black is still a bit better, but not too much anymore. I'm expecting a draw. Hikaru offered a draw, which was accepted. Well, there you go. I'm on fire. Hell yeah. Alright, so moving right along to board number 2. Sip Elephant, Artemiev playing against Beka 95, Mr. Indich. Who just beat a top player. I just saw this, but so many boards are... Well, you guys, of course, have a better memory than me. Who's better and why? Once again on F5. Time to spam those emotes once again, everybody. And... I'm not too sure about this, but maybe black just wants to plan knight on d4, and then it should be okay for black. But I'm not too big a fan of this. If that is the move that has to be played, then I would definitely like white, because white gets a permanent outpost for his knights on e4. But maybe there's a tactical reasoning, because if you take like this, you lose a pawn on a4. But I don't think that's the end of the world, because this pawn will be won back in due time. That's what I'm certain of, but let's move back to the game. Instead, b takes c4 played with the same idea perhaps. Come on. Yeah, queen takes c7, queen takes a4, queen takes c7, queen takes d6. A lot is happening right now. I like white because of the knight on e4 and the better pawn structure, because these pawns are very, very weak. Actually, can black protect against those pawns? There's this funny move, queen c2. Now white wins a pawn. Now it should be very, very good for white. Actually threatening bishop takes h6. taking a breather, I need it, and it should be over. I think Indić might be the dark horse in this terrific lineup in this Title Tuesday. So Hikaru and Serrano making a draw, Mamedyarov also making a draw. I'm not too sure against who it is, but he already finished. So who's left with 8 out of 9? So we've got Lion Beast. Where's Lion Beast? Need to find Lion Beast. I think Lion Beast made a draw against. I think Lion Beast, Mr. Maxime Vasilograf already made a draw. Trying to find this game, cannot find it, so I'm guessing Maxime already made a draw. So there, after this round, there's only one round to go. So Beka doing very well. If he wins here, I think he's the only one with 9 out of 10. So that would mean he would be the sole leader of this whole tournament. And then there's one other game. No, this is the game. This is the only game. So basically, if Beka wins, he's guaranteed a prize. Almost guaranteed a prize. He's then would be the #1 player in this tournament. And yeah, he's a pawn up. Of course, Artemiev is going to try and hold this, but this is looking extremely well for the Serbian player. Let's take a look at Giga Kuparadze, also a top board, of course, playing against Dubov. Dubov exchange up against nothing. Black is in dire straits. Rook a7, winning back the pawn. Black can play king h6, but if he takes the pawn, I like rook e7. Black was preparing knight e6, but that's prevented now by the rook. I think white's winning here. So that would mean that Dubov gets also an 8.5 out of 10, which makes him, if Beka wins against Artemiev, in shared second place. So he's doing very well. Still. Alright, I'm checking back how Beka's doing. Beka has lost the pawn against Artemiev. And now this pawn is extremely dangerous, but also there's a mate threat. Rook g8, it's sad but true. This is the only move that could be played. So what happens after a4? I don't know. Rook a7. a3, then what? Maybe queen g6 and knight f6 threat. Yeah, I like queen g6 and then knight f6. Oh, this is still very dangerous. I have no idea what's going on. What happens after knight f6? Oh, queen takes h4. If knight f6, then queen takes h4. But now, what? Why? Oh, king h3. Oh, queen b1 missed. Saving against the queen h7 threat. King. Oh, that's with check. Ouch. No, Beka screwed this up big time. Now it's actually Artemiev who's winning this. Yeah, it's over. Oh, and he had such a good position. Actually, is this still... Okay, there's still a chance for white. If white can get all the pawns. There's actually a stalemate in the position as well. Black needs to be very careful. No, it should be over. Black is in 3 seconds left. If he wins this, he's the sole leader. Artemiev is the sole leader. I'm expecting a resignation. Resignation? Yes. And we've got a sole leader, everybody, in the name of Sip Elephant. Or Artemiev. Yep. Let's move right along. Of course, a lot more games, but Artemiev, the only one with 9 out of 10. So if he makes a draw, he's sure to win a prize in the next round. So keep in mind, Title Tuesday. This is a normal Title Tuesday with 11 rounds. So 1 round to go after this. And if any of these players win, they are going to be shared second. They will also still be in contention for a prize. And it seems to me that Karjakin is doing very well. Rook a5, king d6 on the board. Nice symmetry there. Rook e7. Rook, okay, just baby steps towards the victory. Yeah. Ever read a book called Baby Steps? I haven't, but this would apply. Just making sure. Verdenotte is on 0.1 second. Now 1 second. Just rook d1. Just take. Yeah, it's over. So Karyakin on shed second place. So moving right along. Let's see how our FF Legend is doing. And he won his game, so he's also on 8.5. Or is this the updated score? No, he's on 7.5. So Khatakamsky won against TDF 898. So he won. No, he drew. No, he won. So he's on 7.5. Let me see if I can find a top game still. Katarina Lachno losing her game against Plati. So that is unfortunate for the women's prize for her. There's only one game left. That's not interesting. So last round, everybody. We've got one more round to go. This will determine. So let's take a quick look at the standings. We've got Sip Elephant, Mr. Artemiev on 9 out of 10. We've got Mamajarov, Karyakin, Alexei Sorokin, Hikaru, and Mishhanik, which is Alexei Sarana. Those are in a very, very good place to win a prize in this tournament. I'm afraid that Elyanov, TPT, Duelis are out of contention for a prize. It might still happen, but it should be a funny result in the last round to see that happening. So, and I don't have a time to brief everybody because the next round has already started. And it is, of course, a nice final clash. Hikaru versus Sip Elephant. Hikaru with the unfortunate pairing, playing with the black pieces. And Artemiev playing a very solid line with c3. So if Hikaru wants to win this tournament, he has to win this game. But with the black pieces against the 2700 player Artemiev, who seems to be in great form, that would be very hard to do. Also, if you take a look at the standings, you see a second number. So we've got after, so Sip Elephant has 9 out of 10. And behind that you see the tie breaks. And that will determine who will if scores are the same, then the tie-break score will determine who wins the prize. And yeah, there you go. So tie-break score is important as well. So here I would definitely, how do you say, think of a move like h4, because it is aimed at playing h5 and stopping all black's potential on the king side. But I'm not sure that will happen. No, he played rook ad1. So f5 looks very dangerous, especially with the bishop over here. Knight c6, very solid choice indeed. I'll keep the standings updated, everybody. So no results just yet. On top level, bishop d5. I'm wondering if Sip Elephant is going for the draw. He is white. He has the better position. This pin is extremely annoying for Hikaru. I'm thinking that white is doing very, very well here. I would consider playing for a win. h4, come on, man, let's do this. Push Harry over the board if I can, how do you say, recite a Ginger GM quote. Alright, so what do I do now? h4, maybe b4, or just queen c2. Why not? Just make some move. Don't give away your advantage. Because after knight f6, the bishop just retreats and there's... yeah. I don't know. Or maybe the bishop just stays on d5. One thing is in Hikaru's advantage is time. Hikaru is almost 1 minute up on the clock. So even though I'm sure that Artemius has the better position, black is doing alright in the time situation. For example, if the bishop moves, knight g4 is very annoying. Winning the bishop pair, but after bishop d5, a5 looks very annoying as well. If b5, I'm hoping to see another knight a7, knight c8, knight d6 shenanigan, because that has been Hikaru's forte in this tournament. So Yeah, let's see if that happens. Black now definitely has some counterplay over the A file, so this is looking... I'm sticking towards this game. The results will be updated soon. I'm sticking here. This is the decider. Well, actually, I want to check one more game. Because it's Dubov versus Mamajarov. Also two players who are still in contention, of course. Who is better and why? Mamajarov is looking very good on the queen side. The bishop is controlling this guy though, but the question is, can white break through? I would certainly pick white. It might not be that much. Oh, excuse me, I picked black because look at the time situation. 20 seconds versus 2 minutes. So black is doing absolutely fantastic here if we look at the time situation. Mamajarov is playing this way too slow. And actually, it seems that there were some draw offers by Shak. I'm not too sure though, but I'm not too sure. I can't find draw offers back. But it seems that white's position is very good now, especially because there's a nice hole on d6 for the knight to go to. Yep. But yeah, I mean, time situation is very much in Dubov's favor. Let's quickly move over back to Hikaru Sib Elephant. Time situation is getting more and more important. Hikaru, very solid position, opposite colored bishops. The bishop will go here. This bishop will go here. I like black better. I see some weaknesses in the position that he could maybe try and play for. Rook b1, alright, that's a very cool move. Actually, Dubov won. Dubov won his game, so Dubov wins against Mamajarov. What happened? Oh, he wins the bishop on d4. If king g1, there's an in-between check, and if king h1... wait, why? Why is this lost? Okay, he simply wins a pawn, and if e3, then queen f3. And he lost on time. So the position was dire, and Dubov is now on 9 out of 11. So he's definitely in second place. Dubov has a second place in this tournament. So much going on right now. Okay, 6 seconds left for Artemiev. Hikaru has 1 minute. This should be very, very dangerous for Artemiev. Will Hikaru clutch it, win this game, and be shared first with at least Dubov? I don't see anybody else with 9 out of 11 so far. I think nobody can be on 9 out of 11. We got 2 players. We got Alexei Sarana winning his game as well. So Alexei Sarana is also on 9 out of 11, which means he's at least second place. I believe. Yes. Yes. So this is the all deciding game, everybody. We are going to stay with this one. See what happens. This is the one game that is important here. F5. White's trying something. But now Hikaru is going to grind out this endgame. He's a pawn up. Opposite colored bishops. Yes. But a pawn up. This will be very, very hard to defend for white with only seconds on the clock. This pawn will run like Forrest Gump. This king will run towards the queen side, but this king will run towards the king side as well, and then this pawn will be weak. This is going to be so difficult to defend. b3, knight c4, bishop c1, it's over. Black is winning. This pawn will promote. But he's grabbing another pawn just in case. And ooh, that was nice. Knight c5, predicting a bishop c2. Only 1 second on the clock. He needs to pre-move. Bishop c2. e4, f takes. This was king g2. He wanted b2 and b1, but now he's losing another pawn. What is happening here? He's a pawn up still. He should be winning. He should be winning. Is he just going to take here? No, he's not. Because Hikaru, of course, knows how to mate with a knight and bishop. Hikaru is clutching it, it seems. Hikaru is in the winning position. Is this guy gonna promote? Just play king g7. Yes, very cool. Bishop h4, it's over. Hikaru won the game and he is in first place. He's the sole winner of this tournament, everybody. He's the only one with 9.5 out of 11. Mr. Speed Chess is doing it again. Winning. All results are in. Almost all results are in. Okay, who has a username called Real Madrid TV? This guy should be banned. Personally, I think. Yeah, alright. What else? That's just a joke, everybody. So, keep an eye out for the standings. They are updated as we speak. And you'll see the medals coming in very shortly. So, Hikaru only won with 9.5 out of 11. He is the victor of another Title Tuesday. Artemiev lost against him in the last round, but he has second place, at least on tie breaks as well. And then we've got Karyakin clutching in third, Elyanov in the fourth spot. And so on. So yeah. Of course, that's not all. Let me give you guys a brief reminder of what the prizes are. We've got more prizes, of course. We've got streamer prizes. So if you take a look, the first prize is $750. Second prize, $400. Third prize, $150. Fourth place, give you $100. And $100 for the best female and $100 for the best stream. So whoever had a bet about how many times I would say bucks, then you have maybe won a fair share amount of money, but that doesn't matter anymore. What about the formats? Let me give you an update on that as well. So next Tuesday, there will once again be a Title Tuesday as well. 3 minutes with 1 second increment. Everybody saw how difficult it is not to lose on time with this time control. It's very exciting, and the payout is based on Chess.com tie breaks. So tie breaks are very important here, and that is more or less it. Nothing much to share. The standings are almost in fully. I'm curious to see who will be the best streamer. I cannot show much more than this, unfortunately, to you guys, but this has been very exciting. So yeah, I'm waiting for the medals to pop up. I think there's still one game left. Real Madrid TV. Oh, come on. Well, I guess he's entitled to. This is democratic, people. So Real Madrid TV, sure. Why not? So there you go. The medals are there. We've got Hikaru winning this tournament. Dubov second place on tiebreak. And third place is for Elyanov on tiebreaks, also with 9 out of 11. Fourth place is for Artemiev as well with 9 out of 11. And Karyakin and Vigor Rasulov with just missing out on the fourth spot. What an exciting last round. I was so excited to see Hikaru playing against Artemiev, Sip Elephant, and he clutched it in, and I'm sure he's celebrating on his channel. Do give him a look-see and see how he's celebrating. I'm not sure how he does it, but I'm sure he is. So wonderful job by Hikaru. Congratulations for him. He's the winner of $750. And yeah, I don't know. What else is there to say? Oh, actually, I've got the wrong. I'm still having this thing on. Now you guys can see my face again. Sorry about that. I forgot that I still had the prizes on there. So let me start all over again. So here are the medals. Hikaru wins 9.5 out of 11. Dubov, Mr. Duelist, 9 out of 11. Elyanov, 9 out of 11. Winners of the first, second, and third place on tiebreak. And the fourth spot, as you guys can see on the right side, below my lovely / horrible face, is Sip Elephant with 9 out of 11. And of course, there are other prizes as well. So sorry about the card showing, a mix-up from me, but this was the screen that I wanted to show you guys. And that's it for Title Tuesday, everybody. Next week again, Title Tuesday, regular format, probably once again with 11 rounds, because it will determine a winner, as you guys can see with this Title Tuesday. So I'm sure it will continue in the same format next week. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just getting the confirmation that I can wrap up the stream. So guys, most likely we are going to raid another streamer. I'm guessing it will be Hikaru. So if you stay, we will be joining another channel, most likely with a raid, so that you can find out another nice chess streamer to watch if you did not have seen enough chess for one evening already. Yeah, actually this was a very quick Title Tuesday. I was expecting to go on for at least three quarters of an hour, but it seems that I'm already done. So yeah. Hey guys, I am going to say thank you so much for watching. I'm happy to be back, so we're gonna close off with, yeah, just bear with it. My face. And I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching, everybody. It's been a blast to do commentary again. It's been since the Olympiad. It's been a while since I've done this, and I always like to do this, so hopefully you can see me much more. If you did not have enough of me, then you can follow me on my Monkey Chess channel. If you want to know why Monkey Chess, then well, come and take a look-see. And otherwise, once again, thank you so much for watching. We will be joining Hikaru's channel, so stay tuned. And otherwise, I'm going to say dankjewel, that's Dutch for thank you, and hope to see you soon once again. Take care, everybody. See you later.